Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to say that either one of them. I mean, the domestic violence was definitely wrong, but in terms of sexual preferences, I don't really think either one of them was really wrong. I think that they happened to approach it wrong and not take care of the women the way they could and have the women leave angry and so forth and have these women be vindictive and so forth. Like you could really humble yourself and you could really, like for example, I used to always talk about this. I interviewed Tupac's rape accuser, right? And I was talking to his co-defendant and I said, look, in this particular situation, when she came out the room claiming that these guys raped her and he let it happen and he wasn't even in the room, he was sleeping on the couch and he woke her up. If he had just said, listen, let's go in the other room, let's talk. Let me calm you down. What can we do to fix this? Let me give you some money. Something, let's me and you just get up out of here and let's just go spend some quiet time together. I said, would any of this rape, prison, or whatever come with it? He said, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Tupac was also in his 20s. And as much
exactly, he was young.
Yeah, as much as we like to talk
he
about
was young. He didn't know any better. He didn't learn over time that you have to treat certain situations, especially when you're a certain type of person and the person,
That's all I'm saying.
Instead, you know what he said? He said, get this bitch out of here.
That's all I'm saying.
They got that bitch out of there. She went downstairs and called the police.
So let me ask you a question. Pac was in his 20s.
Uh-huh.
He was in his 40s. He was 46 years old on that Cassie video. Shannon Sharp's in his 50s. So at what point do we learn?
Yeah.
That's all I'm simply saying.
No, you got a point.
At what point do we learn? I'm married, okay? A faithful black man, all right? That black men don't cheat, okay? October 2016 was the last time I ever played around because...
Oh, you actually admitted to cheating?
Of course, because my thing is this, right? If you lay down every night with a woman and you say this is your best friend, I'm the type person, man, I need all my energy clean. So I'm willing to deal with whatever comes from me being 100% completely honest, especially if I already know which direction I'm taking my life. I want to be clean. I want things to be pure. I want my energy to be right. Let me go ahead and lay it all out there. Let me go ahead and lay on this sword. Let me lay on this cross. And man, the things that come from being honest are what you actually want. The things that you gain from lying, they don't last. The things that you gain from lying is not a good foundation. The things that you gain from being honest is actually a concrete foundation that you can really, really build on. Building on a lie is like building on quicksand, man. Eventually that shit gonna sink.
I mean, look, if you find that person that really satisfies you all around.
I've been with my woman for 27
right.
years.
Congratulations.
Anytime you take away somebody's power of choice, that's when it becomes criminal. That's when it becomes fucked up. When you take away somebody's power of choice. I want to lay all options on the table and tell you this is how I'm moving, and this is who I am, this is what I'm gonna be doing, and then you decide. That's my thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like that with everything. I'm gonna give you the option to choose. I'm not gonna try to manipulate you. I'm not gonna be deceitful about it. I'm not gonna lie about it because I don't want anything that's rooted in a lie. Like I said earlier, when you build on an honest foundation, it's concrete. That shit ain't going nowhere. Building on a lie is building on quicksand.
And I mean, to all the men that are watching this, you'll really be surprised how accepting women are of the truth.
That's all they want.
Like if you really just tell them, listen, I like you, I want to build with you, I see a future with you, but there's also other women going to be involved along the way. Now, that don't mean that that's going to change how me and you interact, but you just have to realize that it's not just going to be us.
Hey man, God bless them brothers. I don't want them kind of headaches, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I deal with really bad anxiety. When I was out there living like that, my anxiety was always through the roof. I'm always constantly lying to my wife. Like that shit is whack. You know what I mean? And I will tell people this, man. When I told God, I want to do right by my wife. I really want to be the husband that she needs, the partner that she needs. And I started doing that work on myself and started going to therapy and everything else. Vlad, I promise you, from 2016 to now, my life has just done this in every single way. you
Yeah.
know, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically, financially. Why would I ever want to go back to that? Because God knows when you playing.
Listen, I love that for you. I'm happy. I've never met your wife, but you've always spoken highly.
Yes, you have.
When?
You've definitely met her at them parties and stuff. You probably don't remember. Absolutely.
I don't remember being formally introduced to your wife. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah. So she might have been there, but I've never. But you've always spoken highly. I've seen pictures of you guys together and so forth. I am super happy for you. I'm just saying, most men aren't really built like this.
More power to them. Like whatever work. But the only thing I would tell them individuals, just be honest.
Yeah.
If you can do what you're doing honestly, salute. You will. I promise you, you won't have no problems. But the ones that are lying and sneaking around and being manipulative,
But a lot
deceitful.
of times it's not lying, sneaking around. A lot of times the women just are like, yo, like, look.
If your woman don't know, you
Your
lying
woman,
and sneaking around.
Your woman would know, but she doesn't know exactly.
Then you're lying.
She just doesn't know the faces. At the end of the day, I feel most women want someone who's stable and is able to support the family situation. Do you want a bum-ass man who, I remember I saw this post recently about like a situation about a woman's like, I'm going to file for divorce. My husband refused to get a job. He just does Uber, and I have a full-time job, and he was mad at me because I had to take some time off, and blah, 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 and I just can't take it anymore. You want a man like that who is going to be a bum, but is going to be 100% faithful? Or do you want a guy that puts you in a mansion and gets you a nice car, and you don't really have to work, you work because you want to, but there are going to be some other girls floating around every so often. You're going to keep them out your face. You're not going to meet them. You're not going to talk to them. You're not going to see pictures of y'all, these people together. But which do you prefer? I think most women would prefer B. Most women would prefer B. Am I right?
Yeah, but
most women.
What's so interesting, man, I just have not seen, this is my own personal experience, I just haven't seen, men do their wives dirty, cheat on them, lie to them, and things turn out well. Whether it was my pops, whether it was my uncles, I just never saw it. And I always hear them later on live with regret and tell me how much they regretted not doing right by their wives.
Because it depends how things worked out for them. Depends how things. Me personally, I feel that the concept of marriage in 2025 is just outdated.
Maybe, but I'm just
the whole thing of signing, especially when you have money, because even with a prenup, you'll go through hell.
You may not. I'll tell you what Kevin Lyles told me. Salute to Kevin Lyles, and I never forget this piece of advice. He told me this before I was married. This was like 2011, 2012. I wrote about this in my first book too. Kevin said to me, "I can't tell you to get married, but I can tell you to find somebody that you can share your life experiences with." Because he said, "Charlamagne, I know where you're going. I know where you're headed. Find somebody to share your life experiences with." And I already had that person. I already had that individual.
And maybe that's your wife. Maybe that's your girlfriend.
No, that's my wife.
Right? No, I'm talking in general though. No, in general.
Oh, I get you.
No. I'm not talking about you. No, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant. I'm sorry, Mrs. Charlamagne. I'm not trying to.
Maybe that's your wife.
Mess you up. No. That's not what I meant. No, I'm saying men in general. That might be someone they marry, or it may be their partner.
Yeah.
Right? Their life partner. For example, there's was it Seth Rogen and his wife? They don't want kids.
If you marry anybody other than your life partner, you're an idiot. I saw somebody say that recently. I was like a meme that was going around, and the meme said some shit like, everybody has that one woman you love more than your wife. Huh? No. If that's the case, if that's the case, you need to divorce your wife and be with that other woman.
Right.
Like, that's wild to me. Like, nah. But I want to...
Well, what they really are saying is there's always that one woman that you lust more than your wife. That's probably what the real meaning behind that is.
I can see
that
maybe.
one person that will do all the shit that your wife doesn't want to do.
But why would you not do all the shit with your wife?
Because maybe your wife just doesn't want to do that shit.
Damn. How does she end up being your wife then?
Well, because maybe things change after you have kids. Maybe things change once she gets comfortable and gets in that position where she knows that going through a divorce is going to be such a hassle, and your kids could be used against you, lose custody and so forth. So she's like, fuck it, I ain't sucking dick no more.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you meet women who, are one way at one point. Listen, I mean, it's like, you're trying to get the job, it's like going on a first date. You meet the best version of that. But 3-4 years later, that's not the same person necessarily. That person was just putting on a show because they're trying to get something out of you, like a kid or a marriage or whatever else. Like, look, I feel
That's
like
why it's good to find. Listen, man, I thank God every day. I'm like, man, I'm so glad I've been with my wife for 27 years. Like, to find somebody young and build a life with them, and like that person still be your best friend and the person that you want to spend majority of your time with. That is a blessing. And when I'm telling you, for anybody out there that's seeing Color Purple, remember when Celie pointed that finger and Celie said, "Ain't no good gonna come to you until you do right by me."
Mhm.
Do right by your woman to see what
Yeah.
the fuck happened for your life.